Just showing you around the house that me enjoy living. I'm going to do a small detour of the complex we live and the swimming pool, and then we're going to go back into the house and show you all around the rooms and run through a few ideas about cost of living and how much these places are to rent and buy, and utility bills and so on. Okay, God bless. Basically where I live, like the little village. Show you a couple of the soys, show you the swimming pool, show you the entrance, and then we're going to go for a bit of a tour around Darkside later today, showing you different walks and the Irish bar and maybe a golf course, a couple of golf courses, and then we'll have a little look around where I live and obviously inside the house that we're renting. So this is our soy, so it's a bit like a triangle. You can see the soys go up, these are like streets, and then they go down. I think there's five soys, 5 streets. Obviously on each soy, each street, people live either side. You've got your houses and stuff. Also detached houses on the first 3-4 soys, and then the last soy is semi-detached. So it's quite a nice relaxed neighbourhood, nice and quiet, and that's how I like it. Right, so there's another soy, set a cab. There's another soy, so you can just see the houses. If you look how fancy the houses are, these are all the detached ones. You know, you get a real big house, a lot of value for your money. You know, these houses to rent are not expensive. You know, 23,000 baht you got hours for per month. You can buy these for like 4 million baht. Some at 3.5, some at 4, some at 4.2. About 20 grand's 1 million baht, so you can sort of work it out from there. This is a swimming pool. This is where I come and do my morning swim or afternoon swim, depending what time it is. Do quite like it here. I will be doing a swim in a minute. Gets well maintained and cleaned every day by cleaners. It's very quiet, to be fair. You get a few kids and stuff coming in about 3:30 after they finish school, but like you say, it's having a bit of fun. You know what I mean? I do my swimming in the morning, so it's half the time it's always quiet. You bring your deck chairs or table and chairs around here if you want to chill out. There's some electric points, so you can put charge your telephone or whatever you want to do. Then you've got this little green grass area. A lot of kids play football around here. I tend to do my grounding on here. Quite a nice little grassed area. You could set a picnic up or whatever you wanted, you know, if you've got a family. Yeah. So everything's quite, you know, very safe around here. You know, people leave the mountain bikes out, the scooters with the helmets on. You know, the footballs are out. No one seems to take anything or do anything against the law. You know. So yeah, you get a lot of money. You get a lot of value for your money with the property in Thailand. You know, many times, I think something like something like this in England. You know, these type of houses, you're probably looking, you know, if they're in a nice area, you know, 300,000-400,000 pound, and they're a lot bigger. You know, we're living in a 3-bedroom detached bungalow, like a detached bungalow, but they're so much bigger than a normal English bungalow, nearly enough twice the size, with the sizes of the roof and the size of the rooms and the solid, you know, they're built out of solid bricks. You know, they're very compact, you know, and like I say, these gates and stuff. These gates, you know, a lot of them have got all these fancy gates and fancy window bars and stuff. Very nice. I think that's the last side just down there. That's more where the semi-detached houses are. There's a few semi-detached ones on here, and then they go to detached. So yeah, we'll have a little swim, and then we'll have a little look around our house, mine and Joy's house. Got a 2-year contract, paid a deposit, and like you say, we pay about £510, £520 a month or something. And we pay that between us, you know, electrics. Well, when Joy's on her own, it's no more than 20 quid. When I'm there, it seems to double up because I like aircon on quite a lot. It's getting a bit cooler now. It's not as hot as it was. You know, it's still hot compared to UK, but not as hot compared to Thailand. And this is it. You know, you got like a bit of a jacuzzi pool as well there. Colder today. This is what I love, man, just a simple life, you know. Get up in the morning, you know, sit outside on my balcony, got sun coming straight onto me, you know, fresh air, do my breath work, have a morning coffee, drink my hydrogen water, you know, and then I just come and have a little swimming. But you can see it's just nice and peaceful. Lovely and peaceful. You know, there's many at nights as well. If I haven't got all my steps in, I'll just walk around each of these soys, basically around the little village we live in. And many people do it. Some people go jogging. Some people go on the bikes, the older people. It's a great way of getting your steps in. You know, I can walk for an hour just up and down these soys, backwards and forth. You know. Yeah. So like if you want to talk about the cost if you wanted to buy one of these properties. So there's a few laws in Thailand you've got to put into order. You can't own a full house. It's the laws designed so are never going to be short of homes. People are not going to come to Thailand and buy most properties and then leave the Thais short. So it's good how it's designed, really. It should be like this in most other countries. They prioritise their own, and they should do, you know. So if you want to buy a house, you can only own you can buy the bricks and the mortars, but you don't own the land. Now, there's a couple of ways of doing it. You can obviously, if you're with a Thai wife or Thai woman, you could buy the property between you. You would own the bricks and mortars, she would own the land, and that's what would go on the agreement. You can buy a house on your own, but you'd have to create a company and buy it in the company's name. Now it's a bit like creating a limited company back in the UK and then buying your house outright buying the house outright through the company. Clear how it works. But I know that you got to pay fees and stuff every year to the company's house, and you know, it gets a little bit tricky, doesn't it? You know, and then me personally, I don't feel too comfortable buying over here. Really, maybe when I'm 50, 55, you know, I might do, I don't know, to see how things go. But at the moment, the way I see it is, if you can have something in the UK, what you're renting out, that will pay for any property over here. You know, the renting process is really easy. You know, all you do basically is turn up. You go around these villages, have a look, see which properties got any renting signs put on. That's what we did. We just actually we drove around certain villages, and obviously we had to ask the permission of the security guard to let us in, because all these complexes are quite secure. We had a good drive around, and we just looked around, see if there's any signs in windows or doors, and there was for sale or for rent. And then we got the telephone number, and obviously Joy phoned them. So we dealt direct with the people, you know, the actual people who own the property. Most of the times there's lots of agents and stuff renting out property. You can go on Facebook, loads of different groups. I'm sure there'll be some on the internet as well, so you can also rent through them. The terms of renting, most properties want to have a 6 or 12 month contract, especially if it's an house. They tend to want 12 months, you know. So it's just a case of paying your deposit. Normally what's like sometimes 2 to 3 months in advance. So if it's £500 a month, you might have to pay £1,500 to get in, and that's like your first month's rent, and like 2 months what's classed as like your deposit. And it could cost you, you know, 1,500 quid. It didn't cost us that to get in here. We negotiated. It was quite a season. We got in here for half that price with a deposit, you know. But busy time now, November, December. Things change. People are wanting properties. People are wanting to rent things. Prices are going up. You know what I mean? Like I say, we got this cheaper than what it would normally be. The house I'm going to show you later. And I got a 2-year contract because I thought she's probably going to maybe put the price up, you know, after a year. So if you want to buy a condo, you can own a condo outright. You don't need to buy that with anyone. A condo's obviously, that's like a block of apartments, come all different sizes, 35 square metres, 25, 45, 55 square metres. You know, some of these new ones are fantastic. You know, you've got top of the range, you know, kitchens and suites and bedrooms. You know, they really are done out nice, and then you got the choice to use all their utilities on the complex. Some of these complexes now have got rooftop bars. They've got big swimming pools, jacuzzis, saunas, steam rooms, ice baths. They have different multiple rooms where you can go and like chill out in one room for a coffee room, or there might be another room where you got like a snooker table or games room. So you get a lot for your value. You know, you can buy condos, you know, well, you can buy them on the dark side from like 20 grand upwards. And that's for like a 35 square metre one, the one what we lived in prior to this. And the new complexes, obviously they're doubling up. You know, you could be looking at 2 million baht, 40 grand. You know what I mean? Now, I know people who have bought them and been in the same complex for nearly 20 years. Some of my friends, and they've had no problems. Obviously, over them years they've built a lot more things around that complex. Sometimes the noise can change, or the neighbours can change. So it is a bit of a gamble if you're buying. And obviously the laws can change a lot in Thailand. You know, the visas change a lot. You know, they can bring out a new law within a couple of months and it can be in place. There's normally always a different, you know, way around each scenario. There's always something you can do to extend your visa or change your visa or whatever. But what I'm saying is, if you're putting a lot of money into a property, you know, in Thailand, there's you always got to be back of your mind thinking, well, I could potentially lose this at some point, or something could happen to me where they might not let me in the country again, or some laws might change. So you always got to put that in the back of your mind. So they say you can't afford to lose it. Don't invest. You know what I mean? But regarding the renting side, like I said, there's so many rented properties on the market, you know, and they're constantly building in Thailand. You know, I was sort of under the impression when I first come here, thinking it was going to be a third world country, but it's far from that. You know, these complexes are just as good as, and if not better than, a lot of nice areas in England. You know, the shopping malls are fantastic. You know, the food, the big cinema screens are well advanced. You know, they're like 4D and 4K. And I went to cinema last week and I was sat in this chair, and it was like I was when I went to Florida years ago. It was moving around and doing different bloody effects and stuff, and I was watching this movie, and I thought, yeah, that was good value for money. It was only about £4.50 or something. So you get a lot more, like you say, a lot more value for your money over here. So that's a little bit about property. Like I say, I don't know a lot at all really. Still learning, you know what I mean? But what I do know is if you've got your deposit, you're almost guaranteed you've got your condo, or you've got your house if you want to rent it. you know, pretty much guaranteed. And then within a couple of hours, you know, or within an hour normally, you fill out the tenancy agreement, show them some ID, they do a T330 or something, or whatever it is. Just tell the government that you're going to be living in that property, so that's going to be your address, and that's it, and you're in there then. Like I say, most of these, well, pretty much all properties in Thailand, most properties in Thailand come fully furnished, so you can literally come here with a suitcase and you could be in a property with, as soon as you rent one, it'll come with everything from a TV to bed to bedding to pillars to knives and forks to all your cutlery. There's nothing you don't really need, you know. Obviously some of the stuff are quite cheap standard, so we've upgraded, you know what I mean, as we've gone along. Just got a better mattress and bigger TV, but there's nothing wrong with the ones what were already in there, you know. So yeah, it's good value really, good, like you say, good value. Not had any problems with any of the landladies we've rented off. They sort of leave you alone and that's it, you know. As long as you pay your rent on time, you can just set up a direct debit or just bank transfer them it once a month. Like I say, electrics, depending where you're living, in a condo, it's no more than really 1,000 baht a month. In a house, you know, if you've got 3 bedrooms, probably doubling that up to 2,000. But when Joy's on her own, when I'm in England, seeing my family and stuff, I think her bill was about 800 baht, about 16 quid for a month, because she don't have the aircon on as much, you know. There's no central heating in these houses, you know, because the weather's warm all year round. No council tax at all, no service charges or anything like that. You know, I think if you buy a property, there will be a service charge, but when you're renting, that just comes included with rent. Water rates, I don't think we paid more than £2. I think it's about 80 baht, 100 baht. It's really cheap on this where we're living now, on this house. I think it was more on the condo for some reason. I think it was about £4 at condo, but yeah, really cheap for the water. And that's it really. So you think about it, you got your rent, you know, and this is going overboard, living in a big house. You know, I could get something for £150 a month if I was on my own, and I'd be totally fine in that. You know, I'd be totally fine in a condo with a 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, a little kitchen built in, you know, all kitted out. You don't need a big house. I just wanted to move to an house so I'm away from any neighbours, so I'm not listening to any falling out or arguments or next door neighbours fucking banging around about, you know. So yeah, so if you think about it, you got your rent, 500 quid for me. You got your electric, call it 40 quid. You got your water, call it a fiver. So there's looking out, 550 quid a month, and that's all your bills and everything paid for. Then all you need after that is basically your food. Now you can go to the market and spend 50 quid a week, and you can, you know, you've seen some of the meals I put on, what Joy cooks for me on some of my other videos. She cooks them up. We only live off about 50 quid a week between us, but she does all the cooking, you know what I mean? So what, 250 a week? So, you know, you can, with your food and your accommodation and your bills, you know, if you're not going out drinking, you're not going to nightlife and entertaining at these bars and stuff, you could probably live under 1,000 quid a month easy. You know, I think we're up to about 750 now. Yeah, I call it 850. Let's say if you got say if you got your internet, maybe a tenner, 500 baht a month, and then you might have your mobile phone, another tenner a month. So your outgoings are not a lot, like I say. So you can live whatever means you want to live over here. Now, if you want to go out, you know, once or twice a week, you're going to probably spend, if you're going out for a meal and a couple of drinks, you probably spend 1,000 to 1,500 baht, you know, maybe 30 quid for 2 of you, but still cheap. You'll pay more if you go to other areas like Pratamak and John Tien and stuff, you know, you are going to pay more, and you can go to these fancy restaurants where you're going to be paying, you know, 40, 50 quid for some steaks, but just, you know, we have a budget and we stick to that, and we pick the places, you know. I noticed I went for a coffee in John Tien, it was 120 baht, fucking £2 something, and everywhere else I've been, well, where we normally go, 50 baht, 40 baht, 60 baht, you know what I mean, no more than 50 pence, and you're getting the same sort of coffee. So you're just picking places carefully, you know. Obviously I've been going out with a Thai woman, she lives over here, She knows everything inside out, so they don't waste a penny. The Thai women, they're very onto everything, the budgeting, very good with the money. You know, they'll go shopping centre and they'll shop there, then they'll shop at the market. You know, if things are a little bit cheaper somewhere else, they'll go and do that extra mile. You know what I mean? You know, these, you know, they've had to survive. You know, wages are not a lot of money in Thailand, so they're built into them to do well, you know, with money. So she does extremely well, and like I say, fall back to the old-fashioned days. You know, she looks after the house and looks after everything. All I've got to do is go to the gym, go for a swim, and try and educate myself more and maybe making some, you know, getting some new investments or some new ideas, trying to get better at YouTube, etc. So, anything else I can talk about? I think that's it really. We're getting up to time now. I'm going to show you around the house in a minute, and then the security part, and then I'll add some other bits to it. Okay, God bless. Alright, so I just got out of the swimming pool, just having a little walk up to the security gates, just to show you the entrance area, and then I'll walk back and have a little look at the where we're stopping at, you know. I'll put this camera forward as well. You can see the houses. It's very nice, you know. You get a hell of a lot of space. These are Chinese people live in this one. Quite a lot of Chinese stuff up. You know, even if you've got one of these as a base and you wanted to do some travelling, you know, once you're in here, you know, you could make this your main base, main home, and then travel around any parts of Asia, going to different islands. You can store your motorbike, your car, nice and safe into, you know, into your drive. Some nice cars on this area, like a lot of nice BMWs. There's a nice Porsche on one of the other soys. I like this one. This one's nicely built, fancy gates. Like I say, you could buy one of these for 80-90 grand outright if you really wanted to, you know. So this little bit here, this is the security part. See where that scooter is there. So each of these soys have their own security. Just to the right, there's a big 7-Eleven shop, so great for your groceries or anything you need. And then you're onto the main road basically. So yeah, so 24-hour security, looks good. Always peace of mind, I suppose. But so we're on the end soy. These first 3 soys seem to be really quiet. The last 2 get a little bit more busier, probably because of the houses are semi-detached. But it's really nice at night time when it's all lights up. See them big lights? You've got lights going every 200 yards or something, 150 yards. So at night time it's all very well lit up. And then a lot of people have got lights on the houses, like lanterns. All swimming pools lit up nicely with fancy lights. So it's a nice place to walk at night time as well, you know. So this is our soy. We're walking down this actual house here. This is actually up for sale. I spoke to the lady further down. They want 4 million baht for that one. It's around about 80. There was one, we were being a bit nosy, obviously no intentions of buying, but we did look at one, what they've got on here for 4.3 million baht. And that was really fancy, with all fancy gates and all new different style of tiles and stuff, you know, through house. and it come fully furnished. Everything was included. What I thought was good. And that was 4.2 million. I think that worked out 98 grand. But like you say, you know, you'd have to be in a long-term relationship and trust each other completely if you wanted to buy one of these with your partner. But there you go, that's that one there, house for sale. It's a lovely house, that. Old fancy gates and gates in windows and stuff. And you couldn't even buy look if you can get a 1-bedroom flat for that, isn't it, in Morecambe or in England. This is the corner house one. Quite a lot of people got dogs and stuff. Take the dogs for walks, and a few dogs that bark and stuff when you walk past them. No one seems to cause them any, you know, there's no bother. The dog's barking, it is what it is, and no one bothers, you know. There's a woman who lives over the road from us, she's got hens. She seems to let them out about 5:30 in the morning, and you can hear them cock-a-doing or whatever they do. But it don't bother me. It's quite like the feel of it, to be honest with you. Wake up and it feels like a bit more in nature, doesn't it? A lot of coconut trees, banana trees in people's houses as well. Seem like bunches of bananas growing. Right, so we're coming up to my house here. Where's her car gone? Oh, she put it in drive. She's washing her car. So she does, she's busy, you know. We've got a couple of, so this is our house here. Here we are. Been growing quite a few plants in garden and stuff. Different vegetables and stuff. And there's Joy cleaning the car. Very productive woman. She's pretty much non-stop. Cleaning, cooking, maintaining things. So this is a side part of the house. Oak floors, like a tile. Air conditioning unit. This must be one of the bedrooms or something. And there's like a little bit of a side porch. What leads into the kitchen. I'll show you in a minute. So saves a bit of money. So we're taking it to car wash. Yeah, these are the things she grows. She's got some plants and stuff down here. Never really been down here, but she grows whatever they are, certain foods and stuff. I have to keep telling her to grow some strawberries and potatoes and tomatoes. But we've got all this land down here. That's all capable of being, you know, we can grow stuff on there. So this goes way back down here as well. Like I say, I've never been down here. Like a boiler or something down there, water tank or something. Right, let's get into the house, man. But this is a bit I like. I like just coming and sitting here at night time. The balcony area, you know, got all outdoor lights and quite relaxing. You could put a dining table out here if you wanted, or have your food out here if you wanted, you know. Like I say, it's all nice at night time and it lights up. Right, so here we go. Oh, put the lights on. This is the front room. Come with everything really. Come with that sofa. Bought this sofa ourselves. Got your internet and stuff there. TV. Some pictures of me and Joy and my brothers. And a little lad. This is 3 bedrooms. So 1 bedroom's an ensuite. I think Joy's making alt beds. Did buy a new mattress. They come with mattresses, but I thought I'd buy one that's half decent, you know. So you've got your 3 rooms, all air conditioned, fitted with wardrobes. This is the ensuite bit. So this is one of the bathrooms. There's 2 bathrooms. Just your basic toilet, sink, washroom sort of thing. So this is our bedroom. That's got a TV in it as well. The other 2 bedrooms are down this side. We've got the little bathroom here, sorry. I tend to use this bathroom, I like the shower. Walk-in sort of shower. Just basic stuff, you know, but it's all nice and clean. And we've got this bedroom here. Again, another, it's like a double bedroom really, a big double bedroom. All the rooms are big, air conditioning, TV. This will be for like when if my dad ever wants to come and stop, or the little lad, they've got a bedroom each, you know. All new mattresses, but obviously just a cheaper form of a mattress. They're quite hard, these mattresses, what they tend to come with, but they're all new. You've got your triple wardrobe, dressing table. So we've got plenty of space. You've got more space than we need, to be honest with you. And then here's the other bedroom. Again, just another double bedroom. Wardrobes and stuff, aircon. You can see where we put the extra mattress on top of that bed. And we've got a mattress topper, what we was using when we had that mattress. Keep my boxing stuff in here as well, some of my boxing stuff. So yeah, there's 2 rooms we don't even use really, but they're all good rooms, you know what I mean? Like I say, when people come and stop, well, at least my little lad can stop, my dad can stop. And the kitchen. So I'll shut these rooms as I go along. So you can see inside the front room, it's massive. You've got 2 big fans on the ceiling, you've got your air conditioning, so it keeps it nice and cool. It's a good sized room, you know. I do like it. I do like living in these houses compared to a condo. Far better. You get so much more privacy and no noise whatsoever, you know. We've got a big kitchen as well. Another thing about living in a condo, what was annoying me, because I enjoy doing a lot of the cooking, because all the garlic and stuff, you could smell it, you know, and it's not good inhaling all them sort of fumes all the time. So I wanted to get out of that condo, and I wanted her to have a decent kitchen. But it come with washing machine, come with fridge freezer, you got all your cooker, come with knives, forks, plates, cleaning stuff. So it's fully kitted out. And then obviously this is the way out. I might get a couple of punch bags down here at some point, freestanding ones, or I might ask the woman if I can drill into that wall. It's just an idea, you know. I have been looking at a couple of them in some boxing shops. Just to break it up sometimes. Sometimes I can't be asked going to the gym. Sometimes I just want to do a quick 6 rounds, you know. Yeah, so that's it really. Buy that cheap water down there. We use that big kettle, and then obviously I buy my mineral water, what we drink. That's pretty much it really. This is where we live. Nice and peaceful. You know, very peaceful. People sit outside in the balconies at night time, and you know, they're having a bit of food and enjoying themselves. You know, it's a lovely area to live in. You know, I really like it. People are, like I say, so nice. Okay, that's it. So probably cap it off at that, and then later on I'll show you around Darkside. Maybe make a separate video for that, because this video's getting a bit longer now than I expected. So I'm going to do 2 videos. I'll do one just of where we live, and then one of like areas around the dark side and things we do around this area compared to being like in the middle of all the action. Okay, God bless, take care.